The massive space station floated silently above a dead planet. Its metal walls stretched for miles, shining under the distant light of a blue star. Inside, the air was filled with the sounds of clanking armor, heavy footsteps, and deep voices speaking in different alien languages. Warriors from many planets had gathered here for the grand tournament, a competition where the strongest fighters tested their skills. Among them was Adam, a human soldier from Earth. He walked through the crowded halls, his boots tapping against the cold metal floor. His armor was simple, nothing like the advanced battle suits worn by the other warriors. His helmet, scratched and plain, sat under his arm, and his weapon, a sleek but small rifle, hung at his side. The other fighters noticed him immediately. A deep laugh echoed through the hall. "Is that a joke?" a large alien warrior said, pointing at Adam's gear. The voice belonged to Varric, a towering Zorathian with dark red skin and glowing yellow eyes. His armor was massive, covered in sharp ridges and glowing lines of energy. His weapon, a heavy plasma axe, rested on his shoulder. Adam stopped and looked up. He had seen Varric's species before, strong, battle-hardened, and extremely confident. The Zorathians were known for their brute strength and thick armor. They had won many battles in the past, and Varric was one of their finest warriors. Varric grinned. "Is that all you brought, human? That flimsy armor? That tiny weapon?" He shook his head, amused. "I almost feel bad for you." A few other warriors nearby chuckled. Even a few small, insect-like aliens clicked their mandibles in amusement. Adam didn't react. He simply smiled, adjusted the strap of his weapon, and kept walking. But Varric wasn't done. He stepped in front of Adam, blocking his path. "Tell me, human, do you really think you have a chance in this tournament?" Adam looked up at the towering warrior. His expression remained calm. "I wouldn't be here if I didn't." The laughter around them grew louder. A reptilian fighter with dark green scales smirked. "Brave words, little human." Varric leaned closer. "I'll give you some advice," he said, his voice low. "Go back to your ship. This tournament is for real warriors, not weaklings." Adam met his gaze. "I'll keep that in mind." Then, without another word, he stepped around Varric and continued walking. The laughter followed him, but he didn't care. He had heard it before. It wasn't the first time someone underestimated a human, and it wouldn't be the last. The station's main hall opened into a massive training arena. The walls were lined with holographic screens displaying past battles. Fighters of all shapes and sizes trained in different sections, some lifting heavy weights, others testing their weapons on moving targets. A few engaged in one-on-one combat, their strikes fast and powerful. Adam stopped near a large observation window and looked down at the tournament grounds. It was a wide, circular battlefield made of reinforced metal plates. Energy shields flickered around the edges, preventing stray attacks from damaging the rest of the station. A loud thud caught his attention. He turned and saw Varric slamming his axe into a training dummy. The impact sent a shockwave through the floor. The dummy, made of dense alloy, cracked under the force. Varric grinned, looking in Adam's direction. "You sure you still want to fight, human?" Varric called out. "Or do you finally see how outmatched you are?" Adam didn't respond right away. Instead, he studied the cracked training dummy, then looked at Varric's armor. Heavy, durable, but slow. A strong warrior, but predictable. Adam smiled. "I guess we'll find out soon enough." Varric chuckled and turned back to his training. The other warriors watched the exchange with curiosity. Most believed Adam wouldn't last long in the tournament. Some thought he wouldn't survive the first round. But Adam wasn't here to prove anything to them. He was here for one reason: to win. As he walked toward his own training area, he reached up and tapped a small button on his armor. A faint hum vibrated through his suit. The outer layer shimmered for a brief moment before returning to normal. No one noticed. And that was exactly what Adam wanted. The training arena buzzed with energy. Warriors of all kinds moved through their routines, lifting, striking, dodging, and testing their weapons on holographic targets. The air smelled of heated metal and energy fields. Every fighter here had one goal: to prepare for the grand tournament, where only the strongest would prove their worth. Adam stood in a corner, stretching his arms and rolling his shoulders. His simple armor, scratched and dull compared to the gleaming battle suits around him, still made him a target for amused glances. The other fighters had already dismissed him as unimportant. That was fine. He didn't need their approval. Across the arena, Varek trained with a group of Zorethians. His massive plasma axe sliced through the air, each swing sending a wave of energy outward. His movements were powerful, shaking the ground with every step. The warriors around him cheered and clapped as he destroyed yet another training dummy. Then Varek's sharp yellow eyes locked onto Adam. A slow grin spread across his face. "Human," he called out. His deep voice echoed across the arena. Adam paused, then turned to face the towering Zorethian. The other fighters looked up, sensing something interesting about to happen. Varek took a few steps forward. "You're here for the tournament, right?" Adam nodded. "That's right." Varek's grin widened. "Then why wait? Let's fight now." A murmur spread through the room. A few warriors exchanged glances, some grinning, others shaking their heads. A fight between a human and a Zorethian was hardly fair. Most thought it would end in seconds. Adam exhaled slowly. He had expected this. It was always the same. Aliens looked at a human and saw weakness. But humans had a habit of surprising people. "Are you sure?" Adam asked calmly. "I wouldn't want you to get tired before the tournament even starts." A few warriors laughed. Varek raised an eyebrow, then let out a deep chuckle. "You've got spirit, I'll give you that." He cracked his knuckles, the sound like grinding stones. "But I won't need my full strength to handle a human." Adam shrugged. "All right, let's do it." The crowd gathered quickly, forming a rough circle around them. Some climbed onto metal crates for a better view. The station's holographic recording system activated, sensing an unofficial match. A small drone floated nearby, preparing to capture the fight. Varek stretched his neck from side to side. "Rules." Adam smirked. "Hit until someone can't continue." Varek grinned. "Fine by me." A loud beep from the training system signaled the start of the fight. Varek charged first. Despite his massive size, he was fast. His heavy armor didn't slow him down much, and in a blink, he was almost upon Adam, swinging a massive fist toward him. Adam sidestepped smoothly, letting the strike rush past him. Varek's punch hit nothing but air. The crowd let out a small murmur of surprise. Varek turned quickly, not giving Adam a chance to counter. He threw another punch, this time lower, aiming for Adam's ribs. But Adam wasn't there. He ducked, twisting his body, letting the punch still just inches over his head. Then, using Varek's own momentum against him, Adam stepped forward and pressed his palm lightly against the Zorethian's back. To an outsider, it looked like nothing. A simple tap. But Varek stumbled forward, caught off balance for a brief moment. The murmurs in the crowd grew louder. Varek narrowed his eyes. "Not bad, human." Adam just smiled. Varek attacked again, faster this time. His fists became a blur, striking in quick succession. Each punch carried the strength to break stone, but Adam kept moving. He weaved between the attacks, dodging by mere inches. The Zorethian's frustration grew. He was stronger, bigger, and had trained for years in hand-to-hand combat, but somehow the human was avoiding everything. Varek stepped back, breathing heavier now. "Fight back," he growled. Adam tilted his head. "I am fighting." Varek gritted his teeth, then lunged forward, throwing all his weight into one final punch. Adam acted. He pivoted to the side, grabbed Varek's wrist, and used the momentum to twist his opponent's own body against him. With a quick motion, Adam redirected the force, sending Varric stumbling forward. The huge warrior crashed onto one knee, breathing hard. Silence. The crowd stared, shocked. Varric, one of the strongest warriors in the arena, had just been outmaneuvered by a human. Adam took a step back, completely unharmed. "Still think I don't belong here?" Varric blinked, then let out a short laugh. It wasn't mocking this time. It was real. He pushed himself to his feet, shaking his head. "You're better than you look, human." Adam shrugged. "That's the idea." The fight was over, but something had changed. The other warriors didn't laugh at Adam anymore. They didn't mock his armor or his weapons. For the first time, they saw him as a real contender. As the crowd dispersed, Varric walked over to Adam. He studied the human for a moment, then nodded. "You've got my respect, but don't think this means I'll go easy on you in the tournament." Adam smiled. "I wouldn't want you to." As Varric walked away, Adam tapped a small hidden panel on his wrist. A silent beep confirmed what he already knew. His real equipment hadn't even been activated yet. This was just the beginning. The grand tournament had officially begun. The massive arena, now fully activated, hummed with energy as thousands of spectators gathered to watch the first round of battles. Towering alien warriors, reptilian hunters, cyber-enhanced fighters, and telepathic strategists stood ready, each prepared to prove their strength. The bright holographic screens above displayed the matchups, flashing names and symbols in different alien languages. Among them, Adam stood calm, adjusting his armor straps. His fight was about to begin. Varric, standing nearby, watched with crossed arms. "Don't disappoint me, human," he said with a smirk. "I want to see what you can really do." Adam just nodded. He had no doubt that Varric, and the rest of the aliens, still thought he was holding on by luck. That was fine. He had nothing to prove with words. His actions would speak for him. A loud gong echoed through the arena. The crowd cheered as the first two fighters entered the battlefield. A large insectoid creature with razor-sharp limbs faced off against a heavily armored reptilian. The fight was fast, brutal, and over in minutes. The insectoid won, its speed overwhelming the reptilian's defenses. Then the screens shifted again. Next, Imatishage, Adam, human, versus Drakig, or Kraovaxi, warrior. The moment Adam's name appeared, the crowd reacted. Some warriors muttered in amusement. Others shook their heads. Many still believed the human would not last long. His opponent, Draktor, stepped into the battlefield. A Krovaxian, his body was covered in thick, blue armor-like skin. His 4 muscular arms flexed as he cracked his knuckles. A deep, guttural sound rumbled from his throat, a sign of confidence. Adam stepped forward as well. The battlefield beneath his feet was a mix of metal plates and shifting terrain sections designed to test fighters in unpredictable ways. He scanned the arena quickly. No cover, limited space, and all eyes on him. The announcer's voice boomed through the arena. "Begin." Draktor moved first, his massive frame surging forward with shocking speed. His lower arms reached for Adam, while his upper fists prepared to strike. Adam had been watching closely. He knew many fighters relied on their size to intimidate, but size also meant predictability. The moment Draktor lunged, Adam shifted his stance, stepping aside at the last second. He ducked under the lower arms, twisted his body, and slipped right past his opponent's attack. Draktor's momentum carried him forward, forcing him to stop and turn. His expression showed mild surprise. Adam stood behind him, perfectly balanced. "That was fast," Adam said, tilting his head, "but not fast enough." The crowd murmured. Was it luck? A mistake? Or had the human planned that move? Draktor didn't waste time. He adjusted his stance and attacked again, this time using all 4 arms in a powerful synchronized motion. His strikes were designed to leave no escape. Adam reacted instantly. He leaned back, allowing the first 2 punches to graze past his chest. As the lower arm swung toward him, he twisted again, his footwork precise. His agility let him move just outside of Draktor's reach, forcing the Kravaxian to overextend himself. Then Adam struck. A quick, controlled palm strike to Draktor's exposed ribs. It wasn't a strong attack. It didn't need to be. The impact was perfectly placed, causing Draktor to stumble slightly. The Kravaxian growled, clearly annoyed. He swung again, this time using his full weight to slam down at Adam. But Adam had already moved. The moment the heavy fists came down, Adam sidestepped and stepped onto Draktor's forearm, using it as a platform to jump over his opponent's head. He landed lightly behind him, standing upright as if nothing had happened. The crowd gasped. Draktor turned, frustration now visible in his eyes. No one had expected the human to last this long, let alone avoid damage entirely. Varric, watching from the sidelines, narrowed his eyes. He's not just dodging. He's reading every move before it happens. Adam stayed calm, watching Draktor's stance. He could already see the problem. His opponent was relying on brute strength. He wasn't adapting. He wasn't adjusting. He was using the same predictable patterns. Draktor charged again, but Adam had seen enough. This time, he didn't just dodge. He countered. When Draktor swung his arm, Adam stepped inside the attack, placing a precise elbow against the warrior's bicep. The force disrupted the strike, numbing the limb for a second. Before Draktor could react, Adam ducked low and delivered a swift kick behind his knee. The large warrior stumbled forward, his balance breaking. Then, with a final movement, Adam placed his palm against Draktor's back and gave a simple push. The Kravaxian fell. It wasn't a dramatic collapse. It wasn't a brutal takedown. It was simply a shift of weight, perfectly executed. Silence filled the arena. Draktor, a warrior feared across many worlds, was now on one knee, breathing heavily. He looked up at Adam, disbelief in his eyes. The announcer's voice echoed. VC2RI. Adam, human. The crowd erupted in a mix of shock and cheers. Some still didn't understand what had happened. Others, especially the more experienced warriors, knew exactly what they had just witnessed. Adam had won without using brute strength, heavy weapons, or advanced armor. He had won by pure skill, precision, and understanding of movement. Varric exhaled, shaking his head in amazement. That wasn't luck, he muttered. That was something else. Draktor got back to his feet and stared at Adam for a long moment. Then, to the surprise of many, he nodded in respect. You are different, he admitted. I won't underestimate humans again. Adam smiled. That's all I ask. As he walked off the battlefield, he could feel the eyes of every warrior watching him. The tournament had just begun. And now, they all knew his name. The energy in the arena had shifted. Before Adam's fight, most warriors saw him as weak, just another human who wouldn't last long. But now, after his victory over Draktor, the whispers had started. Did you see how he moved? He barely got hit. That wasn't luck. That was skill. Adam walked back to the waiting area, feeling the weight of 100 stares on him. Some were filled with curiosity, others with caution. A few, however, carried something different, concern. Varric stood near the edge, watching him approach. You're causing trouble, human, he said with a grin. Adam smirked. Wasn't that the point? Varric chuckled, shaking his head. Maybe, but now, they're paying attention. You won't be underestimated again. Adam stretched his shoulders, feeling the lingering tension from the fight. Good. That'll make things interesting. But Varric's expression turned serious. He lowered his voice. Listen, I've been in this tournament before. Winning your first match like that. It's not always a good thing. Adam raised an eyebrow. Why? Varek glanced around, making sure no one was listening. Because now, the real threats are watching you. Before Adam could respond, the tournament system buzzed. The next matches were being displayed on the massive holographic screens. His eyes scanned the names until he found his own. Adam, human, versus ZYRK, GELTTHARIANEXEQ. The moment the name appeared, the arena fell silent. A heavy tension spread through the crowd. Some warriors muttered to themselves. Others simply shook their heads. Even Varek's jaw tightened. Adam frowned. Who's Zyrok? Varek exhaled. A problem. Before Adam could ask more, the ground rumbled. A shadow fell over him. A massive figure approached. Standing nearly 8 feet tall, Zyrok's presence was overwhelming. His body was covered in smooth, obsidian-like armor that seemed grown rather than forged. His eyes glowed a cold, unnatural blue. The most disturbing thing was his movements. He didn't walk like a warrior. He glided, as if the ground itself adjusted beneath him. He stopped in front of Adam and stared without blinking. Human. Zyrok's voice was hollow, like an echo from deep within a cave. You are different. Adam met his gaze, refusing to be intimidated. So I've been told. Zyrok tilted his head slightly. It is rare for a human to survive long in this tournament. Adam crossed his arms. Guess I like breaking expectations. Zyrok stared at him for a long moment, then smiled. It wasn't a friendly smile. It was the kind of smile a predator gave before the hunt. This will be interesting. Without another word, Zyrok turned and walked away, his movements eerily smooth. Adam felt the weight of Varek's hand on his shoulder. You need to be careful, the Zorathian said. Zyrok isn't just strong. He's fast. He doesn't fight like normal warriors. I get it. Adam interrupted. He's dangerous. Varek nodded. More than you know. A loud gong signaled the next round. The fight was about to begin. The battle begins. The battlefield for this round had changed. Instead of a flat metal surface, it was now an uneven terrain, sharp rock formations, shifting platforms, and dim lighting that cast long shadows. Adam stepped onto the field, rolling his shoulders. Across from him, Zyrok emerged, his dark armor blending into the surroundings. The crowd was silent, waiting. The announcer's voice echoed. Begin. Zyrok vanished. Adam's eyes widened. No roar, no charge. Zyrok simply disappeared, moving so fast that his form became a blur. Then, pain. Adam barely twisted in time to avoid a direct hit, but Zyrok's clawed hand still grazed his side, slicing through his armor like paper. A sharp sting spread across his ribs. The crowd gasped. Adam rolled backward, regaining his footing. That speed, it was unnatural. Zyrok stood a few feet away, watching him. Good. You're not slow. Adam touched his side. Blood. Not deep, but it was a warning. One clean hit from Zyrok would end this. Think. Strength wouldn't work. Direct attacks wouldn't work. Zyrok was faster, stronger, and completely unreadable. But Adam wasn't here to play by other people's rules. He took a slow breath and shifted his stance. Zyrok moved again, a blur of dark energy rushing toward him. This time, Adam didn't try to block. He didn't even try to dodge normally. Instead, he did something unexpected. He moved toward Zyrok. The sudden shift in momentum caught Zyrok off guard for the smallest fraction of a second. That was all Adam needed. He twisted his body at the last moment, letting Zyrok's own speed carry him forward. Instead of colliding with Adam, Zyrok's strike swung wide, missing by inches. For the first time, Zyrok stumbled. The crowd gasped. Adam didn't hesitate. He spun low and swept Zyrok's leg, disrupting his balance even further. As Zyrok tilted, Adam delivered a precise strike to the back of his knee, a weak spot in his otherwise indestructible form. Zarak crashed down on one knee, his dark armor scraping against the rock. Silence. Then, for the first time, Zarak's calm expression changed. Surprise. He hadn't expected that. Adam exhaled. Not so fast when you lose control, huh? Zarak slowly lifted his head, and then he laughed. A deep, unnerving laugh. Impressive. Zarak rose to his feet, his cold blue eyes locked onto Adam. You truly are different. The match wasn't over. But for the first time, Zarak was taking Adam seriously. The battle had just begun. The arena was silent, yet filled with tension. Every warrior, every spectator, every fighter who had once dismissed Adam now watched with wide eyes. Zarak, the feared executioner, had just been forced to his knee, something that had never happened before. And the one who did it was a human. Zarak rose slowly, his glowing blue eyes locked onto Adam. The small moment of surprise on his face was gone, replaced with something new. Interest. You are the first to make me stumble, Zarak said, his voice smooth, almost amused. You learn quickly. Adam took a deep breath, keeping his stance loose but ready. His side still stung from the earlier cut, but he ignored the pain. He had no choice. One mistake, and Zarak would end this fight instantly. I do my best, Adam replied, watching every small movement Zarak made. The crowd had been stunned into silence for a moment, but now whispers filled the arena. The human actually knocked him down. No one has done that before. Maybe this human is actually dangerous. From the sidelines, Varek watched with narrowed eyes. His usual smirk was gone. Come on, Adam, he muttered. Stay sharp. The battlefield had shifted again, the metallic plates beneath their feet slowly moving to create unstable terrain. Some sections lowered while others rose, forming jagged platforms. Zarak moved first. Unlike before, he didn't vanish into a blur. He approached slowly, each step measured. Adam tensed. This was different. Zarak wasn't treating him like an easy opponent anymore. Then, without warning, he struck. Adam barely had time to react. Zarak's right fist shot forward, aiming directly for his chest. Instead of dodging, Adam twisted his body slightly, letting the strike graze past him. The sheer force of it sent a gust of wind against his skin. If that hit had landed fully, his ribs might have shattered. But Adam didn't have time to think. The second attack was already coming. A sharp elbow strike aimed for his head. Adam ducked, feeling the air shift above him as the attack missed by inches. He countered immediately. A precise kick toward Zarak's knee, aiming for the same weak spot. But this time, Zarak was ready. Before Adam's foot could make contact, Zarak twisted his body, avoiding the strike completely. In that same motion, he brought his arm down like a hammer toward Adam's shoulder. Adam barely rolled away in time, the impact cracking the ground where he had stood a second ago. The crowd roared. This fight was different from before. It wasn't one-sided. It wasn't strength against weakness. It was two warriors testing each other. Zarak smiled slightly. Good. You are not just fast. You are smart. Adam wiped the sweat from his forehead. His breathing was steady, but he knew one thing for sure. Zarak was learning just as fast as he was. He couldn't just dodge forever. He needed a plan. He scanned the battlefield. The shifting platforms, the uneven ground, the shadows cast by the dim lighting. Use the environment. Zarak lunged again, this time with a spinning attack, his legs sweeping low toward Adam's feet. Instead of dodging backward, Adam jumped onto a rising platform, using the movement to launch himself higher. He flipped midair, landing on another platform just as it rose. Zarak followed immediately, moving with inhuman grace. He leaped after Adam, his dark armor blending into the shadows. But that's exactly what Adam wanted. The moment Zarak jumped, Adam kicked off the platform, flipping backward toward the ground. Zyrok, still midair, had no place to land. For the first time, Zyrok was off balance. Adam didn't waste the opportunity. As Zyrok came down, Adam stepped forward and, with perfect precision, drove his palm into Zyrok's chest. The impact was not about power, it was about control. Zyrok, already mid-fall, couldn't stop himself. His momentum twisted, and instead of landing gracefully, he slammed into the ground, sliding across the metallic floor. The crowd erupted. Even Varric's eyes widened. He's actually. But Adam knew better than to celebrate early. He took a slow step forward, watching Zyrok carefully. The executioner lay still for a moment, then he laughed. A deep, resonating laugh. Adam's stomach tightened. That's not good. Zyrok sat up, shaking his head. He looked down at his own armor, touching the dent where Adam had struck. Then he looked back up, his glowing eyes locking onto Adam with an intensity that hadn't been there before. You are worthy. The crowd hushed. Zyrok stood to his full height, rolling his shoulders. Then his body changed. The black armor-like material covering him shifted, flowing like liquid. His arms became longer, his shoulders broader. His once humanoid shape became something more monstrous, leaner, sharper, built for even greater speed and power. Adam exhaled slowly. Of course you can do that. Zyrok took one slow step forward. This time, when he spoke, his voice carried something new. Excitement. I was not using my full strength before. Adam clenched his fists. This was bad. Zyrok vanished again. But this time, he was even faster. Adam barely had time to register the movement before a fist collided with his stomach, sending him flying backward. He crashed against the metal ground, rolling several feet before stopping himself. Pain shot through his body. Zyrok stood over him now, looking down. The message was clear. The real fight was just beginning. Adam gasped for breath, his body aching from the brutal hit. Zyrok stood over him, his newly transformed form towering like a living shadow. His black armor-like skin shifted with a faint glow, and his glowing blue eyes were locked onto Adam with undeniable focus. The crowd had gone silent, as if sensing that the match had changed. Zyrok tilted his head. You are strong, human. But now, his fingers flexed, his claws gleaming under the dim arena lights. Let's see if you can survive. Adam rolled onto his feet, his muscles burning. He had taken hits before, but this was different. Zyrok had been holding back. And now he wasn't. The moment Adam stood, Zyrok vanished. Not even a blur, just gone. Adam's instincts screamed. He spun just in time to see a clawed hand swinging at his neck. He ducked. Barely. The air hissed as Zyrok's strikes sliced through empty space, the force alone sending dust and metal fragments flying. Adam didn't have time to recover. Zyrok was already attacking again. A brutal kick. Adam twisted, letting it skim past his ribs, but the shockwave still sent him sliding backward. The crowd gasped. Adam gritted his teeth. This wasn't working. Before, he had been fast enough to react. Now, Zyrok's speed was overwhelming. Every attack was faster, sharper, stronger. Adam had one chance. He had to slow Zyrok down. Adam's eyes flicked to the battlefield. Shifting platforms, uneven terrain, deep shadows. Use it. Zyrok lunged again. But this time, Adam didn't dodge. Instead, he moved toward Zyrok, into the attack. Zyrok's claws flashed forward, aiming for his shoulder. At the last second, Adam dropped low. Zyrok's arms swept over him, missing by mere inches. In that instant, Adam grabbed Zyrok's outstretched wrist. He shifted his weight, using Zyrok's own speed against him. The moment Zyrok's momentum carried him forward, Adam twisted, slamming Zyrok's arm into the ground. Cracky. The ground split beneath the impact. The crowd roared. Xyrox staggered, not from pain, but from sheer surprise. Adam didn't stop. Before Xyrox could react, Adam leaped onto a nearby platform, grabbing a loose metal fragment. He hurled it directly at Xyrox's face. It wasn't meant to hurt. It was meant to distract. Xyrox instinctively swiped it aside. And that's when Adam struck. With everything he had, he drove his fist into Xyrox's side. The impact sent a shockwave through the air. Xyrox stumbled. For the second time in this fight, the feared executioner had been forced off balance. The crowd erupted. Even Varrak, watching from the side, couldn't hide his astonishment. He's doing it. He's actually fighting on Xyrox's level. But Adam knew the truth. This wasn't enough. He had slowed Xyrox down, yes, but not for long. Xyrox straightened, his blue eyes narrowing. His expression was calm. Too calm. Impressive, Xyrox said. His voice had an eerie calmness. You think like a warrior. Adam clenched his fists, forcing himself to stay steady. His breath was coming in short bursts, his body screaming from exhaustion. Xyrox took a step forward, but then he vanished again. Too fast. Adam barely had time to lift his arms before a brutal force slammed into his chest. Crack. His vision blurred. He flew backward, crashing into the ground so hard that the metal beneath him dented. Pain. Everywhere. He coughed, tasting blood. His entire body throbbed. He tried to push himself up, but Xyrox was already there. A hand closed around Adam's throat. With inhuman strength, Xyrox lifted him off the ground. Adam struggled, his hands grabbing at Xyrox's wrist, but it was like trying to move solid rock. The crowd fell silent. Xyrox stared at Adam for a moment. His grip tightened. You are strong, human, but strength is not enough. Adam's vision darkened. His lungs burned. Was this it? Was this where it ended? No, not like this. Not when he was this close. With the last of his strength, Adam did something unexpected. He relaxed. Xyrox frowned slightly, confused, and in that small hesitation, Adam acted. Instead of fighting the grip, he twisted his entire body, using his own weight to shift Xyrox's balance. Xyrox, caught off guard, loosened his grip for half a second. That was all Adam needed. He brought both hands up, clasping them together, and slammed them against Xyrox's arm. A precise hit, right at the joint. Xyrox's fingers spasmed. His grip broke. Adam fell, but he was ready. As he landed, he rolled, immediately launching himself forward. His knee drove into Xyrox's chest. Xyrox staggered. The moment Adam hit the ground, he moved again, grabbing Xyrox's wrist and twisting it into a lock. The crowd screamed. Xyrox, the executioner, the unbeatable warrior, was now the one on the defensive. Adam gritted his teeth. His body was at its limit, but he had one chance. One final move. With every last ounce of energy, he twisted his entire body, using Xyrox's own momentum, and hurled him across the battlefield. Xyrox crashed into the metal ground, skidding several feet. Silence. Then, cheers. Adam stood there, breathing heavily. His vision swam. His body ached beyond reason. But he had done it. Xyrox was down. For the first time in the tournament, the executioner had been thrown, and Adam was still standing. Adam stood in the center of the battlefield, his chest rising and falling with heavy breaths. His arms ached, his legs felt like they would collapse any second, and his vision was blurry. Every muscle in his body screamed for rest, but he forced himself to stay standing, because Xyrox was not finished. The executioner lay on the metal floor for only a moment before he slowly pushed himself up. His dark armor, once unshakable, was now cracked in several places. His glowing blue eyes burned with something new: respect. The crowd was silent. No one had ever seen Zyrok in this state before. He looked down at himself, running a clawed hand over the dents in his armor. Then he lifted his gaze to Adam and smiled. A real smile. "You are the first," Zyrok said, his voice calm but filled with undeniable admiration. "No one has ever thrown me like that." Adam swallowed, forcing air into his lungs. "Guess I like breaking records." Zyrok chuckled, shaking his head. He rolled his shoulders, the muscles beneath his dark skin shifting. "Good," he said. "Then let's finish this." He took a step forward. Adam's stomach tightened. "He's still coming." He clenched his fists. "I have to end this." He had pushed Zyrok back, had fought harder than anyone expected. But his body was at its limit. If this fight went on any longer, he wouldn't last. One last move. That's all he had left in him. Zyrok lunged. Adam moved at the same time. The two warriors clashed in the center of the battlefield. Zyrok swung a devastating punch toward Adam's chest. Adam sidestepped, just barely avoiding it. With everything he had, Adam countered. He dropped low and drove his fist straight into Zyrok's ribs. Cray cake. Zyrok staggered. But Adam wasn't done. Before Zyrok could recover, Adam twisted, using all his strength, and slammed his elbow into Zyrok's jaw. The impact sent a shockwave through the air. Zyrok's head snapped back. For the first time, he stumbled. The crowd gasped. But Adam still wasn't finished. He grabbed Zyrok's arm, planted his foot against the shifting metal platform, and with one last burst of power, he threw Zyrok over his shoulder. Zyrok crashed onto his back. Silence. Adam stayed standing, barely. His breath was ragged, his legs shaking, but he didn't fall. Zyrok did not rise. The executioner lay there, staring at the ceiling for a long moment. His chest moved slowly with deep, measured breaths. Then, to everyone's shock, he laughed. A deep, genuine laugh. Adam blinked. What? Zyrok sat up, shaking his head, amusement shining in his glowing blue eyes. "Incredible," he murmured. Then, in a slow, deliberate motion, Zyrok raised his hand, a sign of defeat. The crowd erupted. The ground beneath Adam vibrated from the sheer force of the cheers. The human won. Impossible. He beat the executioner. Varrock, who had been watching in stunned silence, finally let out a low chuckle. "Well, I'll be damned," he muttered. He actually did it. Adam, still trying to understand what just happened, blinked down at Zyrok. You're giving up?" he asked, his voice hoarse. Zyrok grinned, standing up slowly. "Giving up? No, you simply earned the victory." Adam exhaled, his entire body sagging with exhaustion. The adrenaline faded and pain flooded back in. But he didn't care. He had won. The announcer's voice boomed across the arena. "The winner, the human. Adam." The cheers grew louder, deafening. Adam took a step back, staring at the roaring crowd. Some of the alien warriors who had laughed at him before now looked at him with newfound respect. He had proven himself. Zyrok, standing beside him, crossed his arms and nodded. "You are not like the others, human." Adam chuckled, still catching his breath. "Yeah. What makes you say that?" Zyrok smirked. "Because you fight not with power, but with will." Adam raised an eyebrow. "That's all I had left." Zyrok's smirk widened, and it was enough. As the cheers continued, a realization hit Adam. He had come into this fight as an outsider, a weak, outmatched human in an arena full of warriors. But now he was one of them. Epilogue. Later that night, after the celebration died down, Adam sat outside the arena, staring up at the alien sky. His body ached, but for the first time in a long while, he felt at peace. Footsteps approached. He didn't need to turn to know who it was. Zyrok sat beside him, arms crossed. "You fought well." Adam smirked. "You weren't too bad yourself." Zarok chuckled. Then he grew serious. You know, you could stay. Adam looked at him, surprised. The warriors here, they respect you now, Zarok continued. You could train with them. Fight with them. You could become more. Adam hesitated. The offer was tempting. He had spent so long proving himself. Maybe it was time to see how far he could go. He looked back at the sky, at the endless universe waiting beyond, and he smiled. Maybe this was just the beginning.